So you got clout, so you got clout. I'm on now. Hey, so you got clout, so you got clout. I'm on now. Say I'm on now. Hey, got to celebrate life, and that's alright. Know what I do. Yeah, I can't been working so hard, just supporting the couples out of these moves. Let me hit snooze, time for me to get up, get bust. I ain't got time to be stuck. You been a skipper, but there's so many tickets up. It's been an honor, a blessing. I don't believe in luck.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. This is So You Got Clout, the podcast. I'm your host, Southside Ty. And today, my star, the co-star of the show today, I met her in the booking room. I always talk about the booking room on that show. It's the best place to go if you're acting in that Atlanta area, meeting people. And when I met this woman right here, honestly, she took up like the room. It's not often that you meet people like that, but it's just, when you meet certain people, you can tell when they're walking in their purpose. And just when she spoke, people listened, and people really, really just was like gravitating towards her in the classroom. And when I finally got to talk to her, I learned that we were cut from similar cloths. We some acting ass, writing ass, producing ass people. You know what I'm saying? We kind of do it all. She got her own production company going. I got mine going. Cut from the same cloth, And when you find people like that, it's very important, especially, like I say, walking in your purpose. I know one day everybody gonna be out thinking business. So I just want to do it first. On this show, okay. So You Got Clout, we give you your roses first. For anybody else do. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the star of today's episode is the Dani Coleman.
Hi.
How you feel, Dani?
I feel great.
You feel good?
I feel good.
I appreciate you for being here.
Absolutely.
This was a lot of hard work. This is like the 10th attempt.
Oh yeah, man.
We've
been rescheduling for like 3 months at this point.
Yeah, but it's cool though. We finally here on this rainy day, but everything finally came together. So first of all, Dani, what are you doing like right now? What kind of projects you working on right now that you can dish out about?
Right now, I am working on 3 projects simultaneously.
Okay.
So I have it's a trilogy. It's a 3-part thriller series. So far, I have written 2 of the 3 parts, and we have filmed 1 of the 3 parts. And I'm probably leaning to release the first part by March.
Okay.
And then maybe again in May, and then summertime we'll release the 3rd one. Then I also have a 6-part web series called Millennials that I've been co-writing for the past 6 months or so with Xavier Morgan. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about that. It's about a group of 6 friends right out of college and how they transitioned into the real world, and the ups and downs of what's really going on with them, and how they're all connected in different ways and have secrets and lies and things that keep them together and apart. And then I also have been co-writing a web series with my business partner called 4 Letters. We've been working on that for a little over a year at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we started on that like late 2018, early 2019. We're finally gearing up to put some things in motion for that. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Okay. Working. Living the dream. So would you consider yourself like an actress or a writer first? What's like your real passion, and the other one's kind of like just come with it?
See, that's a trick question, because initially I would consider myself an actress first, and I had been acting for almost 10 years before I embarked on a writing career. Like, I only started writing last year. Like February 2019 was the first project I wrote and put out, and I kind of just took off from there. But when I thought about it in hindsight, I've always been a creative writer And I can remember back to like winning creative writing contests in like 3rd grade and 6th grade and creating comic books and things like that. So I'm like, I guess I've always been a writer, you know, before acting came about, I was a writer for sure.
But just officially, like last year.
Officially in the last year was my first time like really putting the script together, and then it just took off. Started writing more stuff and collabing with other writers, and here we are. So
what made you finally put a script together?
Oh, okay. So it was on a whim. I was not planning it. If you've heard of Screening Room ATL,
Kalima.
Yeah, Kalima had a film challenge, and the film challenge was about being purposely you. And I just so happened to be scrolling IG, and I seen it, and I was reading it. I was reading the guidelines, and it struck something in me. I was like, I have a story to tell. I have a story to tell, and it fits with this. And called up Jay Scott. That's my brother, my business partner. That's who I'm working on 4 Letters with. He DPs all of my projects. And I said, hey.
Shout out Jay there.
Yeah, I was like, so I think I want to do this film competition. And he was like, okay. And he was like, write something out. Let's figure it out. 6 hours later, it was written. He was like, this is great. Let's shoot it. I think we shot it 2 weeks later. We showed it April 3rd, and then everything just took off from there.
Oh.
So yeah, it was not on my radar at all to write anything for myself.
So you wrote a screenplay in 6 hours.
Yeah, it was a short. It was one of the guidelines. It couldn't be more than 5 minutes. So it was short. It was about 5.5 pages, and I found my cast. I'm the kind of person, when I get an idea, I have to act on it quickly or it disappears. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I acted on it really quickly. Once I wrote it, he read over it. I was like, all right, who can we cast in these 2 parts? Okay. When can we shoot it? I think we shot it like 2 weeks after I wrote it. And then 3 weeks later, we showed it.
That's impressive. Because writers will slack.
Yes. You know? Oh, I know. Hey.
That's impressive. Writers will fall off on an idea.
I know. From that point on, everything I've written, I've had many of days where I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to write it today.
Yeah.
So I get it.
You gotta touch on it when it feels right.
Yes.
Or else it's not gonna flow. I understand. That's crazy. So once you got there and things started flowing, what was it like instead of being on camera, handling the behind the scenes work and being in charge of all of that?
I loved it. I loved it. So I am a natural born leader, and
like I said, people gravitate to it.
Right. I'm a natural born leader, and I do know that about myself. And just having the opportunity to fully control the narrative and the creative side of it and just make moves the way I wanted to, I absolutely fell in love with it. Because when you're an actor, you show up on set, you do what you're told, and you go home. You don't get to have any type of creative banter with the director. A little bit, but it's mostly the director telling you what they want and you fitting into that. You don't get to say, well, I think it'd be better if I, did this or that. You don't have that creative control over their story. So it was a lot of fun, and I fell in love with that side of it. Like just being able to really say, okay, this is how I envisioned it. This is what I want it to look like.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it's just a completely different experience when you had it from being an actor. So, do you see yourself in the long run being? Which one do you see more longevity in? You being who you are? Do you like just the control of it, or is it more like, nah, I just kind of want to, it's cool, but I see myself being more just a creative artist. I just want to portray.
Right.
I like it's too much. I just want to, just give me the script. I'll show up. It's easier this way. Like, which one do you see yourself?
In the long run, I'm going to be honest with you. In the long run, I still see myself doing both. Similar to like Regina King. Regina King She acts and she also directs projects completely separate from the role she plays. So I do know that it is possible, but honestly, I just want to act. I only started writing and producing and directing out of necessity.
Right.
You know, I had went maybe almost a year without booking anything through my agency that I was with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting a lot of auditions, but for some reason I was not booking. And I increased the amount of training. I increased the quality of training. I started living bi-coastally so I could also train with the best acting coaches in Los Angeles. And I still wasn't. I was not booking the things I was auditioning for. So part of me becoming a director and writer was out of necessity. And then it just happened to flourish. And realize, oh, wait, this is an additional skill.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that I have developed it as an additional set of skills for my tool belt, you know, like, well, I can always jump behind the camera. I can always write. I can always produce. And I'm good at those things. But ultimately, if I could just act, I'd love that. If I could just be an actor.
Because I'm like the same way because it was out of necessity. I had locks when I first started, and I didn't really feel like anybody was going to cast me. Well, outside of being typecast,
right?
I'm in this, you know, I want to act for real, so to show my range, and that's kind of where it started. And I think nowadays, anyway, with technology and where everything's going, you have to kind of be just that triple threat. Anybody can be on camera, behind the scenes, and then just have an extra skill on the side because you never know. I don't believe in plan B and everything lines up together. I got plan A, plan A1, plan A, you know. It all meshes together very well. I'm glad you brought up Regina King. Like I said, she's one of my favorite actors in the game. And right now, for Black Hollywood, it's a strong, it's a really big time for Black women running the show, not even just being on the show. People like Shonda Rhimes, Lena Waithes, like you said, Regina King, Taraji P. Henson going into directing. Issa Rae, and they got the hottest shows, movies. Every time something come out, you gotta see it, right? It's always quality, always has a message, whether you like it or not, because Lena Waithes kind of got in trouble for her last movie.
I've seen that.
But how you feel about it?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Here's why.
Because I didn't see it yet, so I was just getting other people's opinion.
It's cool.
It's cool. Just give me like your opinion of it. Do you understand why people are upset about it?
I understand why people were upset about it, but that's because they wanted to be. And here is why I feel like, and this is against popular opinion, but we as a Black culture are always looking for the savior in something other than ourselves. So we're looking to people in the outside world to make us believe, to tell us what to do, and to teach us something. So people looked at the movie, and instead of taking it as a movie, a fictitious storyline, not a true story, something that was written, they took so many pieces of the story and, oh, but it means this, and she shouldn't have did that, and there shouldn't have been this imagery. And I'm like, it was a story. Just watch it as that. Just watch it as a story. So as a creative, I was just like, it's just a story. It's just a movie. Do I think it had some holes in the story? Absolutely. But overall, it was just a story. I did not take any part of it to heart, as in, well, why would they put that imagery out there? That's putting out this type of message and that. And I'm like, when you know yourself, you don't need the message to come from outside for you to understand what's what. Yeah, you know, so I felt like a lot of people were really taking to heart what was in like different parts of the story and what was going on, and I'm like, it's still just a story. I can't. Is that her laughing?
Yeah. I'm keeping that. I'm sure her herself. I'm like, cause you open up your room, and that's how you do. But my initial question was going to be, and with all this Black excellence going on in Hollywood, especially with Black women running the show, where does Dani Coleman fit in the big picture with the Issa Raes and the Lena Waithes and the Shonda Rhimes? Where does Dani Coleman fit in with all that?
I am Dani Coleman. I'm not trying to fit in.
Period.
No, I am a free spirit who goes with the flow. So at no point leading up to now have I tried to compare myself to any of those women. I look up to all of them individually, but I am not trying to be the next anything. I'm okay with being the first Dani Coleman. And I think there's space for me in that realm. But I don't know. I hope to work with all of them one day.
I like that answer. Not really what I was asking or insinuating.
Oh, okay.
I was what I meant was more so like, what's your perspective? Like, what do you bring to the group of heavyweights? You're in a group of heavyweights. What do you bring? Why do the people need to see Dani's movies?
Well,
Did I word it better that time?
no, yeah, you did.
Okay.
What I bring to the table is my true authenticity. I feel like oftentimes, I'm very much a personality on Instagram and on my social media. I'm very active. And the one thing I hear most often when people meet me is, wow, you are really like this. Like, you're really this person. So I feel like that translates even into, even into my projects. Just I'm telling a story from my perspective, for us, by us. I do plan to diversify eventually, but by and large, I am very much all for employing us, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. I keep it fun. I keep it real. I think, like I said, I never compared myself to them. I honestly just, when an idea hits me and I decide I want to write it or create it, I get started on it, and that's that. And the people who are supposed to get it will, and the people who don't like it, that's okay too. I think art is really a huge area to be interpreted by whoever is watching it or hearing it.
So you have no problem putting yourself out there?
Not at all.
Very important. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, not at all. I put things out, and I can honestly say this. I selfishly put things out because it's what I want to do. I have always been the I'm going to do what I want to do person. And I say this often when it comes down to how I feel about something or what I think or how I respond to something, I do not take anyone else into consideration. And I don't mean that in a rude way, like I'm going to say something or do something controversial and not care how someone perceives it. It's just, I'm coming from this place of my honesty, my
your perspective.
So it's like, I just put it out there because I thought it was cool. With Finding Sunshine, it was a story that was near and dear to me, and it was a lot of truth moments in there. So I put it out because I wanted to share that part of me, but I also knew that someone else might relate to it.
Right.
With Outsourced, same thing. It's a romantic comedy. I'm like, we are in the era of internet dating and apps. And I'm like, I know I personally use apps for everything, but what if there was a way to use an app to like hire somebody to date for you? So it was things like that. When I create, I just create from personal experience or idea or whatever, and just put it out there and let it go.
Okay, cool. And that was for the critiquers, because the creators understand. So for those who just like sit back and critique, there you go.
Yeah, critique away and judge and have an opinion. I want people to have an opinion about things. I love that. I don't need yes men. I don't need everyone to like or agree with what I say or do. So I really like that. I enjoy people having an opinion about my stuff, good or bad. I'm okay with that.
You gotta be. That's like the first thing you gotta get over. You gonna jump off that porch, you gotta jump.
Yeah.
Speaking of jumping off the porch, you are a mother
Mm-hmm.
and you are an actress and director. How do you balance that? Because I haven't had a mom on the show yet.
Okay.
So like I'm really curious as a parent myself. Like how do you have like what's that like for you?
I am a mom. And here's the thing, I say this often, children don't know any better. So they're adaptable. When people feel like, oh, I can't do this because I have a kid, I'm like, no, you're talking yourself out of doing that because your kid doesn't know any better. Your kid is looking to you. So if you say, hey, I gotta do this, I'm gonna be on set, the kid is gonna be like, okay. You know, like I have a great support system. I will say that their father is a wonderful being. He's very supportive. My children have multiple generations of grandparents. They are blessed to have two sets of grandparents, great grandparents, across the board, aunts, uncles. There's always someone around who can take them in and care for them. So me having a great support system is part of how I'm able to do everything I do, and keep it balanced. But as far as getting it done, kids don't know any better.
Yeah.
Kids, if I tell my kids, hey, stay out of here because I'm working on a script, they'll get on my nerves for about 10 minutes and then they'll get it and they'll leave. But they don't think about it like that. You're neglecting me. They're fine.
Yeah.
They fall in line. Children adapt to whatever you present to them because they don't know any better.
So how does that affect your creative life, right? How does being a parent like influence your writing? I know it has to on some level.
You know, it's so crazy. I have yet to write anything that really involves kids. So up to now, they haven't played a factor in my writing or creating. Um, I would like to incorporate more children's style content somewhere in the future, you know. But I think that's a very thin line, and you got to be careful with that because is a very different side of content creation. So I actually just worked with my first child actor in Charlie, and he's 11. He's not really a small kid. He's 11.
Yeah, okay.
So he was great to work with, and it was my first experience writing for a child and having a child in one of my productions. So I'm open to doing it again.
And it kind of stretches your writing ability too, because writing for children is way different or something that kids can watch at least, way different from writing a movie for your peers.
Right.
People your age groups are way
right.
different. So yeah, that was as a creative, I'm looking forward to, because I have a concept myself. I'm looking forward to seeing how I can do that, because most of my stuff isn't for kids at all.
Yeah, it's like I haven't actually incorporated children.
Yeah.
They haven't even been a thought in my mind, but I'm open to it.
I feel that. We got somewhere. It's okay.
Yeah, we ended that on a good note.
We did.
Her laugh is so infectious.
So you said earlier you've been acting for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
When did your passion for acting start?
So all throughout, like, I've always been involved in the arts. I actually come from a really artsy family, and so I've always been involved in music, dance, performing arts of all ranges. I did theater stuff throughout middle school and high school, and some acting in college, but I think it wasn't really until about 3 or 4 years ago that I was like super passionate about it. Like, okay, I absolutely love this. This is what I want to do. Really? I think I don't remember exactly where the switch came in, but like me having done a lot of different things in performing arts up to that point, I don't know. I always had it in me. And then one day I was just like, I really love this. And just went for it.
So what sparked, because you're from New York originally, right? So what sparked the move to Atlanta? What made you take that leap? Was it a project or like you just...
No. Yeah, after college, I went to Florida State. And after college, I had the option of, going back to New York, stayed in Florida, go to LA or lovely Atlanta. And I went back to New York for a little while, but I felt like as a new actress, as a new artist, starting fresh with really like no credits or anything like that, I knew Atlanta would be a great place for me to start. I felt like Atlanta was more, at the time, more privy to actors of color. So that was pretty much the motivation for me to come here versus go straight out to LA where I didn't know anybody, or go up to New York where it was going to be really expensive and I'd end up living with a bunch of people. Growing up as the only child, I was very much used to just being alone by myself, having my own space. So those factors went into consideration, and I knew two people here in Atlanta and was like, hey, I want to come to Atlanta. Can I stay with you for like a few weeks? That was it.
That's for a lot of people. Yeah. So, were you involved in like film at all in New York? Is it something that you stepped into a little bit before you jumped?
So I got started in production first. So I learned a lot about the film business and television through working behind the scenes as production assistant location scout, you name it. I was always like working on a set in some behind the scenes factor. But I knew that I wanted to be in front of the camera. I knew that. So when I moved to Atlanta, I just took the leap. I was just like, boom, Atlanta. In Atlanta, I'm an actress.
Yeah.
And it was because I felt like, it's a little different now, you know. You could be a professional slasher and be like, I'm a this.
Yeah.
You know?
Really.
But then at that time, it was more so like, I always use the analogy, if my mechanic told me he was a rapper, I'd be annoyed. Because at this moment, you need to fix my muffler or my oil change or whatever it is you're doing on my car is what I need you to focus on. I don't care to know what other endeavors you have, not in this space. You know, if you see me out on the street and you want to tell me that, great. But in this space, I need you to stick to what I know you can do. So for me, it was that type of thing. I was just like, working in production is great. I'm learning a lot. But nobody here wants to hear that I really want to be an actress. Because then they think, well, you're just here so you can get close to whoever you need to get close to show them you're an actress. So I wanted to separate the two. So when I got to Atlanta, went full-fledged into acting classes, workshops, tried that extra thing for like 2 days, hated it. Personally, it just was not for me. So I opted against spending any more time in extras holding.
What was the project?
It was a Tyler Perry project.
Okay.
That's not what made me hate acting. Nothing against Tyler Perry. That's not what made me hate doing extra work. It just was not for me.
It's not fun. I think it's good practice though. But if you really want to see if like this is for you, doing that bottom work. I'm a fan of doing the steps. I'm a fan of steps. So I feel like if you just, because a lot of people, and I feel that, because a lot of people just, I just want to be an actor. And it's like, do you really care? Do you really have a passion for it? Do this. Do the bottom work. Because if you can hang with this, then you might want to do this for real.
See, I have a totally different perspective on that. For me, I've always been on the accelerated path of life. And for me, it was more so, I seen it and I thought it was great, but I felt like I could learn because of that 12-hour day. 9 of those hours was in a tent.
Bus or something,
somewhere way off a set where you're not actually seeing anything. You're just talking to other people who, do whatever they do for a living. And I just felt like I was not going to learn anything. So after 2 times of doing that, I was just like, I think I'm gonna just go look for a class. I was working at the Cheesecake Factory part-time.
That's such an active job.
I did not last there either. I was only there for like 3, maybe 4 months. Like, I knew that I wanted to be a creative, but I also believe that there's no such thing as consequences and everything happens for a reason. So in that job at the Cheesecake Factory, I met this young lady named Tiffany who happened to work at Tyler Perry Studios. And she was actually casting for a whole different project. independent project. And she was like, oh, come in and audition. And I ended up getting that project. And that's how it started with me in acting. Although I didn't really, I mean, I had a background in acting as a kid, but as an adult, I did not. But that was my first like thing in front of a camera, my first project in front of a camera. And from there, I knew I didn't feel like I did my best. So I was just like, I need to train. I need to like take real classes as an adult with, you know, a coach or someone who actually knows how to tell me what to do, like how to point me in the right direction.
So the experience was like bittersweet.
Yeah. So I'm just like, the extra thing,
Yeah, I feel that.
Try something.
I think it's good to experience though. I think it's good to experience. I agree. I think it's a great experience because it helps you see if it's for you in that element. Yeah.
Like me working in production, I learned different parts of what it takes to put a production together. However, I knew like, I kind of want to be in front of the camera. I knew that. So when I made the transition into in front of the camera, same thing. I tried the extras thing for like 2-3 days. It was in a matter of a week, literally. It was like a couple days in 1 week. And I was just like, this is not it. This is not what I want to do. I need to just go take classes. So I think it's great because some people do it just for the check. Some people do it for the sake of networking and meeting other people. Some people do it because they feel as if they could really learn something about the acting craft. I respect all of it. It just wasn't for me.
I feel that, I feel the same way, but I probably did like 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. I was told very early, look, if you don't want to be the extra guy, don't keep doing it. So I haven't been back since. Yeah. That was about 4 years ago.
I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I definitely took it more because he did like 200 projects, so he wouldn't know.
Right.
I think he told me he had like 200 extra credits.
Yeah, because then you become an extra.
A liability. It's like, you're always on standby.
You become an extra.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted either. Okay. Definitely gotta ask you this because you said this on your stories, on your Instagram stories. You were talking about having some work done on yourself. Plastic surgery a little bit. And stereotypically, Black people that ain't really.
It's a taboo topic.
Yeah, it's kind of a taboo topic. I was like, when you think that, you think like Lil' Kim or something. But like really Black people don't go there, especially nowadays. Like beautiful, you're supposed to be natural, like all that's being like empowered now. So where do you stand? Obviously you're for it, but like how do you feel when you like hear stuff like that?
When I hear stuff like that,
and not to cut you off, but how do people receive it when you tell them, I've had work done?
They're usually, well, for one, when I hear stuff like that, I understand and I get it because when people hear plastic surgery, they do think of the Lil' Kims or the Kardashians or anyone else who has taken it so far to the extreme that they look unnatural, you know? And I'm a very transparent person. I don't have anything to hide in that aspect. And I talk about it freely because I want people to see like, no, I still look normal. Maybe a little ageless, but normal. I still look like a normal. I do not look like an alien of sorts, which is very easy to fall into that trap of like, things start looking distorted and you start looking non-human and now we know you got work done. Yeah. I also tell them you'd be surprised how many of your favorite celebrities do get work done, but because they get it done similar to me in such a subtle way, it doesn't look so extreme that you're like, oh, what does she do? You know, so it's people out there who are 40 and 50 years old and you're wondering why they still look that way. It's because they got fillers. And I know this for a fact because I get fillers, so I know what fillers look like in certain parts of the face. So I can always identify when certain celebrities have gotten them done and they get them done in a nice, natural way where like the naked eye might not notice, but they just are really believing that this person has not aged in 10 years, you know? But I can always spot it and it's cool. You know, I'm like, whatever, do what makes you feel good. I also feel like we are in an industry where people judge you by the way you look.
Very much so.
People judge you by the way you look, but I also don't feel like that means you need to change anything about your look. You don't need to enhance anything. Do it because you want to, not because you feel pressured into. I did it because I literally wanted to just slow down the aging process. I felt like after going through 2 years of deep depression and losing 105 pounds after having my twins, I wanted to regain my life back. And one way I wanted to do that was to stop the aging process. That was it. There's modern technology out there that can assist with that, and I invested into it. But that's it.
So what are fillers? Like, what is it?
Fillers.
How can you explain that? Because I don't know nothing about that.
So fillers are basically, as we age, we gain weight, we lose weight. Fillers are in your face, and basically it's a facial procedure. And as you gain weight, lose weight, age, your skin will lose some of its elasticity, or fine lines, wrinkles, et cetera, might come up on your face. Fillers basically fill those crevices that will then erase the wrinkles or bring back whatever youthful vibe you had. Like, I showed my injector a picture of me from 10 years ago and said I would like to look as close as possible to that age. And she did her work. And that was it. That was it. Fillers are just there to, when done properly, fillers really just slow down the aging process and kind of keep you in this bubble of you look this age range for a longer period than most people do. But that's it.
So you're saying black crack a little bit?
Black absolutely cracks if you do not moisturize. If you do not moisturize, your black will crack strongly. It will crack strongly. It will.
And then you got to get some fillers.
No. He tried. I love it. This is the fun part of the interview. Keep all of it. No. Black does crack. I would say drink your water, mind your business. Okay?
I feel that.
Drink your water, mind your business. But no, I mean, the thing is, we're all going to age. Mm-hmm. Aging is inevitable. So if there's a way to slow it down, I think it's a combination of things. I have a very youthful personality. So people never really guess my age like that anyway. They usually think I'm a lot younger. And then when I tell them my age, tell them I have children, they're like, oh, snap, you're a grown up. Like, for sure, bro. Like, I'm a grown woman, So I just feel like it's a combination of how you feel about yourself. I think everything truly starts from the inside. You have to truly love yourself. You have to truly be comfortable with yourself. You may have flaws you don't like. I know I personally have physical body flaws I absolutely hate. And I work to work on them. And when the time comes, I will get surgery to correct them if I feel like it. However, I still love who I am and I'm still confident in myself. So anything I do from the outside in is just an enhancement. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it. Like, you only look as good as you feel. So you still have to do the inner work to feel great. Yeah.
I feel that. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, that's my take on enhancements.
So when you tell people it's kind of just like it's all good. It's like,
they're always
people
shocked.
give like opinion, like
yes.
Yes. Like they 2 cents.
They give me 5 cents, 25 cents, $1.
Okay.
They give me all their little bank account money when it comes down to opinions, child. Listen. No, but seriously, I when I first started talking about it publicly on my story, I did have a lot of people saying, you don't need that. Why are you doing that? I even had one person say, I hate that society has led our Black queens to believe they do not love themselves.
I was waiting on it.
Child, that was a good day. That was a good day. Mostly just because I really had to educate him on the fact that this is not something I'm doing because I do not like myself or I hate myself. I am in a business where people look at me all day. It'd be different. I would honestly say it'd probably be different if I worked behind the camera, 100% behind the camera. It's different, but I work in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to look my best on camera. It's not about really trying to look different. I honestly feel like I still look like myself, just erased a few years, But I get those opinions all the time. Oh, you didn't need that, or why'd you do that? But I will say for the most part, it's usually a lot of positive opinions because people are seeing a real life human that they know in real life do it versus like a celebrity that they don't know. So they can only go based on like, look at the extreme.
Yeah.
Why they do that and they making assumptions versus like, no, I'm still you see me in real life. So you see how it looks. You see it just looks normal and you're like, oh. So I've gotten a lot more positive opinions than negative, but I have gotten a few where people are like, ew, you didn't need that. Newsflash. Don't ever tell somebody what they need or don't need. That's not your place. It's not your place to tell people what they need. If someone wants to do something, clap for them. Let them do it. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Before we go, we got a couple more questions for you. What I like to get, because it's the purpose of the show, not only to give you your roles first, but it's a timestamp, something we can all look back on and be like, damn, look how far we came.
Yes.
So I would like for you to claim it right now. What is like, whether you write it or somebody else write it for you, as an actress, what like your like role, like this is mine here. This is what I want to do. My dream role. If
assassin.
it all ended tomorrow, huh?
I want to play an assassin. I already know.
Ooh.
I want to play an assassin.
Like Saul?
Better than Saul.
Better than Saul.
No, I really do. Like I see it. I like that's my dream role. Like I want to be like, okay, I don't know, like have you seen Law Abiding Citizen?
Yeah.
Something like that. Like I want something like
raw,
rugged, like I am out there doing something crazy. Yeah. Like I want to be an assassin or like a spy and an assassin or just something. I don't want to, let me tell you something. I don't ever want to play anyone's mother. So if you're watching this, understand I don't ever want to play someone's mother. I'm a mother in real life. I don't need to pretend to be a mother on camera. So that's a role I have no desire to ever play someone's mother, but I do have a desire to play like an assassin or just something like non-traditional for a woman.
That's hard.
You know?
Villain, hero, it don't matter. Just as long as you're an assassin.
I'm a hero in real life, so I'd like to play a villain.
Okay, so
I think my real life persona is all about helping people. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't seen that really.
Yeah.
Or ever.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't. I like that.
When it comes down to it, I just want to play opposites of who I am. I think not that I'm going to say I'm someone's hero other than my children, but like I know as a human being, I'm very much all about helping others and building up the community and things of that nature. And I do know a lot of people look up to me. So I would love to play a villain. I would love to be an assassin and not like a nurturer, you know.
That's tough.
I've actually taken weapons training. I'm training to become a skydiver. So, you know, something cool and fun and like action related.
So you're gonna do your own stuff?
Yes, I would love to. I'd love to do my own stunts. I have about 7 more training hours and 8 more jumps before I can be certified to jump by myself out of a plane without a person attached to me. Mm-hmm. But it's a real thing. So yeah.
That's interesting. What's that like, skydiving?
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm putting that off.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. I think everyone should do it because people have the wrong idea about it. Like people have this idea that it's going to be so frightening because they're thinking that, you know, when you get on a roller coaster, you're going up the hill and then you drop down, you feel your stomach in your throat. Yeah. It is not that at all. You don't feel that because the air pressure kind of like you're dropping, but you're in like a bubble. So you're just constantly falling. So you don't feel that. I just think it's great. It's so beautiful from up there. From 10,000 feet, from 15,000 feet, you really feel like a bird. And you really feel like, man, I could do anything. I could see these people in their pool. He's mowing his grass. You know? Yeah. So yeah, I'm the adventure seeker. I'd love to play adventurous roles.
I know I'm going to have to eventually do stuff like that because I do want to do my own stunts. So I know it's necessary that motorcycle training, hand-to-hand combat guy. You know, I'm doing all that eventually. Yep. I'm just working my way up to it. I'm going to be the funny guy for now. Yeah. Put on some muscle. Catch me in my 30s. Yeah. Coming hard in my 30s.
I feel you. I mean, your 30s is still extremely young. I think people put so
Very
much
much so.
pressure on themselves to do things by a certain age that we are driving ourselves insane. And I always tell people, if you take age and compare it to money, as in 30 years old is not old. We are in 2020 where people are living to be 110 years old. I know someone who just had someone in their family die at 112. Real life.
That's
112. So how I'm seeing it is like, and I've always had this thing where I've been saying since I was young, I'm going to live to be 100. So for me, when I turned 30, I never felt like, oh, my life's over. I got to
you still
do this stuff. I'm like,
years.
I'm good. And I'm like, when you think about, it's all about perspective. And so I was like, when you think about age in the way you think about money, for example, what could you buy with $30? Rhetorical question.
Right.
But think about that. With $30, how much could you really buy? Not much. It costs about $25 to fill up the smallest tank of gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if you had $30 to your name, what could you really do with it? Maybe put 10 in your tank. Maybe buy $10 worth of groceries, whatever the heck that looks like. And maybe have $10 to save yourself for till the next check, right?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money. So why is it when it comes to age, we're like 30 is old, oh my God, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you have the rest of your life. Back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, when people were dying at 50 years old, it made sense to feel like at 30 your life is half over. Right now, no. I think 30s are a great age.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this decade. And more importantly, I just feel like, yeah, I still got 70 years left. That's just how I feel. Yeah.
All right, Dani. I'm gonna let you go. Is there anything else?
Finna. I will never get used to saying that, you know?
From
Finna.
South.
That is a Southern word. It's
From
just so
South.
funny when I hear it. I'm finna. They're like, who? I'm about to? I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what I'm finna. You said that real casual.
Finna. Yeah. I'm from South.
I hear that. I always like, what is that?
It roll off the tongue.
It does. And y'all, that's a Southerner thing for y'all. Y'all say finna.
I'm a New Yorker, so no.
I'm about to.
Okay. She's about to. I'm about to let you go.
Nah, you're good.
Son. No, I'm
The
fine.
jokes.
Don't get that.
The jokes. Keep all of this for outtakes. I would love to see the outtake videos of this. This is fun.
A lot of breaking. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
But any other question, comments, or concerns that you want to put out there? Anybody want to shout out? Anything you want to say? Just get off your chest. It don't matter. It's about you.
Oh man, thank you for having me. It's always an honor when people want to sit down and talk to me on camera. I thank you for this. I'm really appreciative of this. This was a great, fun opportunity. I loved it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to be on here.
Absolutely. To anyone who's watching, I just want to say, keep going and take it easy on yourself. You know, stop beating yourself up. Stop rushing yourself. Enjoy life. We cannot control time. Time is the one thing we have no control over. You can only control how you react to your current circumstances. So take it from me as a woman in her 30s that it's okay to chill, relax, have fun. Don't get caught up on a number in your age. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you want to do. And that's it.
All right. Straight from her mouth herself. Once again, that was Miss Dani Coleman, the star of today's show. Thank you once again for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
For finally being able to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is your host, Southside Ty. So You Got Clout, episode 6, 7. I forgot. We done did enough of these. But we signing out either way. God bless. Peace and bless to all. We out.
Our social channels, you can go over those.
Oh, we can just run back.
Oh,
Right. I know I
Just
forget
go ahead.
something.
Just start from here. I'm not recording.
Okay. Give me social media, please.
I can be found on IG at I am Dani Coleman. I only have IG. I don't have Twitter. I haven't gotten into it. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. One Fine Film.
Oh, yes. And my production page, One Fine Film. That is where I post my crew calls, my casting calls when I have them. And yeah, updates on things going on that side of life.
Okay, cool. So you got the personal page and the production page. Now that we shouted those out, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Dani Coleman. Thank you for coming by once more. I'm your host, Southside Ty. This has been another episode of So You Got Clout, the podcast. Peace and blessings to all, and we're out.
That's alright. Know what I do. Young king been working so hard, just supporting the couples out of these moves. Let me hit snooze, time for me to get up. Get bust, I ain't got time to be stuck. You been escaping a little better, so many tickets up. It's been an honor, the blessing, I don't believe in luck. I'm ready for my son, yeah. And I dare you to get in my way. Cause I'm ready for my son, yeah. You better get so you got clout. So you got clout. I'm on now. Say, so you got clout.